does it take to win the lottery? The odds are tough to beat, but these people did it.
Here you go. This is for you. This is all that you get.
He looked up and he looked down again. He looked back up at me and he goes, "Do you know you have all 6 numbers?" And all I started doing was shaking my head.
I didn't sleep a wink for 2 solid days after that day.
Everybody wanted to shake my hand and wanted to rub off on the luck, you know.
No matter where you read the numbers, the newspaper, saw them on the TV, and you seen them on your ticket, you said, no, this is not right. It's just not happening.
If you're going to go for the big jackpot, you've got to learn to play smart first.
If the system works for you, then it's a great system.
The higher the odds game, the higher the jackpots will become.
If you don't play, you can't win.
Hi, I'm Bart Hansard, and welcome to Winning the Lottery. Now, if you're like me, you have a lot of fun playing the lottery. You buy your tickets week after week, you watch the jackpots build, and you fantasize what you do with the money. New car, dream house, travel, take this job and shove it. Well, recently I decided to try and find out if there were ways to lower the odds of winning in my favor. You know, I sure could use that new car. Also, there are other games besides Lotto that, I didn't know much about, and I wanted to know if they were worth trying too. You know what I found out? They are. And in this show, I'm going to share what I found out with you. But I've got to level with you first. I know that playing the lottery is not a get-rich-quick scheme. There are no guarantees that come with that lotto ticket. You've got to remember one thing. Lotteries are adult entertainment. That means you should play them for fun only. And don't go broke having that fun either. We'll talk to a CPA to figure out how to set a dollar limit, even before you buy that first lotto ticket. Those are the ground rules, okay? Hey! Now let me share with you a little number picking strategy I came up with myself. Okay, boys, let her rip. Oh, yeah, here we go. Let's see, my first number is going to be 23. My second number is 30. Can you imagine what it must feel like to find out you won the lottery? Well, we caught up with Maryland lotto player Loretta Borowski on the day she reaped the rewards of playing her numbers faithfully for over 7 years.
I just couldn't believe it. Then when it started to feel like it was real, what a feeling. I mean, it was really, really numbing.
Have you been playing lotteries a long time?
Yes, all my life. My husband used to play them in New Jersey, and then we played them in Pennsylvania, and then when we moved to Maryland, we played them all the time.
What does this mean to you as far as your lifestyle and what you'll be able to do from here on out?
Just, you relax, you don't have to worry about the future. You play it all the time, but you never really think you're going to win. I won the $2 many times, and that was a thrill. To get the check from the Maryland State Lottery, and it's $2. But this was like unreal. And when I thought it was $1 million, and he says, "Do you want to know how much you won?" And he says, $4.2 million. I mean, that's like unheard of. You can't even imagine what. I just didn't know. I couldn't comprehend it all. Just certain numbers. My children's birthdays. The one that I won on was my son's birthday, my daughter's birthday, and the year my husband was born, and he was 39 when he died. And I played those constantly. I know I'll pay off the mortgage. Everybody says that, right? And help my children if they need it. My son's okay. My daughter, I'd like to help her get a house or something in Seattle. And wait for my grandchildren and spoil them rotten. You want to win the lottery. That's everybody's dream. How many times just say, if somebody does you a favor, "Oh, thank you, I hope you win the lottery," right? It's like a prayer.
Now, before we go any further, one thing to remember about lotteries. They are games of chance based on random number selection. No strategy can predict exactly which numbers will be drawn for any given lottery. However, strategies do help you understand the games and your odds of winning.
Now, when you see this guy, that means you're getting a tip that's based on statistical fact. And when you see this guy, You're getting opinions on ways to play that aren't based on statistical fact.
Now let's talk about odds for a moment.
Here's tip number 1. Stretch your dollar with multiple plays.
Many states offer 2 or more plays for $1 for their most popular games. You can lower your odds for playing several sets of games for the same $1 investment. Payouts are smaller, but the odds of winning are more to your advantage.
For a game like Lotto, the odds are determined by the number of possible winning tickets that I might buy. So in the Lotto game where I choose 6 from 46, there would be only one collection of numbers for a ticket to win, and I'd have to compare that with how many possible choices there would be from the 46, and that turns out to be about 9.4 million. So my odds of winning would be 1 in 9.4 million roughly.
Okay, so the odds are overwhelming, but there is that what-if factor. That's what makes lotteries fun. Now you can make playing Lotto a no-brainer by using Quick Pick. That's where the computer picks the numbers for you when you buy the ticket.
Here's a fun way to play. Quick Pick versus Pick Your Own.
We've done survey after survey and state after state, and those who pick their own numbers win a higher proportion of times than those who use Quick Picks. Overall, and the percentages change just a hair in each state, the 35% of players who pick their own numbers win 43% of the jackpots, versus the 65% of the players who Quick Pick win only 57%. Now, the only game that this is not holding true is Powerball, and for some reason, in Powerball, the percentages swing the other way.
Quick Pick is an easy way to play any lottery game on the spur of the moment, and that's okay. Many times, Quick Picks have produced big winners, like Todd Powell. He's a former worker on the Alaska pipeline who won over $27 million playing the Florida lottery.
I called Alaska and I told them that if they ever saw me again, it'd be by accident. About the single best thing that's happened to me since I won the lottery is just being able to kind of financially help the family. My mother used to have to work 2 jobs, and now she still works her 1 job, but just because she chooses to do so. And so now the things that, the first thing she got her was a satellite dish. That's because she lives so far out in the woods they have to ship in daylight. Winning the lottery has made a lot of my dreams come true. This house is my dream house. I just never thought I'd have been able to do it before because of the financial end, but this is my dream home. Typical good day for myself would be waking up about 4 o'clock in the morning, and a friend of mine, King Bond, which is pretty much my fishing partner, and when he's off, and we hook up to my boat and we go off to one of the state lakes or to one of the rivers and just have a good day of fishing. I would say in 20 years from now that I will be very much financially stable because of my spending habits and just the way that I keep on top of the money. I think I'll have plenty, and then when I'm dead and gone, my family will have plenty. I would just definitely say for the non-believers that you're not going to win if you don't play. Even if you don't spend $5 a week, you probably lose that much in your washing machine every week. So it's not going to hurt to spend $5 a week, and consistency pays off. So if it happened to me, I don't feel like I'm any better than anybody else. And if it can happen to me, it can happen to anybody out there.
Todd won his jackpot playing Lotto. But each state has lots of other games with great names like Daily Deco, Fantasy 5, and Kicker. But with only a few exceptions, all of the crazy names refer to the same basic games. Pick 3, Pick 4, Pick 5, and Pick 6.
The interesting thing about playing the lottery is that you can play different type games with different type odds. Generally speaking, the higher the odds game, the higher the jackpots will become.
Pick 3 is played by choosing 3 separate single-digit numbers, each of them from 0 to 9. That's 1,000 different number combinations to choose from. And that means you have a 1 in 1,000 chance of your number exactly matching a winning Pick 3 number for every drawing.
Here's tip number 2. Pick 3 offers the best odds.
My preferred lottery game is the Pick 3. And the reason I like the Pick 3 is that it's got better odds of winning. Your odds are 1,000 to 1 versus millions to 1. Like in the Florida lottery, it's 14 million to 1. So you have a lot better chance of winning.
Here's another fun way to play the Pick 3 scorecard.
According to Bob Lyon, for a Pick 3, unique non-matching numbers like 427 or 390 are drawn about 72% of the time. Numbers with double patterns like 225 are drawn about 27% of the time. And triple patterns like 444 are drawn only about 1% of the time. With a Pick 4 game, you choose 4 separate single-digit numbers, each of them from 0 to 9. Now the odds grow higher. You have a 1 in 10,000 chance of having an exact match of the winning number. A Pick 5 game works differently. Now you get to pick those 5 numbers out of a much larger field, not just 0 to 9. And the size of that number field can vary from state to state. For example, in Maryland's Match 5 game, you choose from 1 to 39. No 0 in this game. Those 39 numbers can produce over 575,000 unique combinations of 5 numbers. So those are your odds of winning, with 5 matching numbers, about 1 in 575,000. The larger the number field, the higher the odds, and likewise, the smaller the number field, the better the odds of winning the jackpot. That's the same way odds are determined with Pick 6 type lotto games, where you try to match all 6 numbers drawn for the jackpot. Much higher odds, though. Georgia's weekly Pick 6 lotto game draws from a field of 46 numbers, so the odds of an exact match are 1 in 9.3 million.
Here's tip number 3. Play Pick 6 for big money. Play Pick 5 for better odds.
If you wish to play the higher odds game for the chance of really changing your life forever with a dollar bet, you go after the bigger jackpots. If you prefer the chance of winning more and more money, maybe smaller amounts but have better chance of winning, then you'd go after the Pick 5 jackpots with significantly lower odds.
And then there are the multi-state games, like Powerball, played in 20 states and the District of Columbia, and the Big Game, played in 6 states. These states pool the money played into one giant jackpot. For Powerball, you pick 5 numbers out of a 49-number field, and then you pick a 6th number, the Powerball, out of a separate field, 1 to 42. And your odds of matching all 5 numbers plus the Powerball? A whopping 80 million to 1. For the Big Game, you pick 5 numbers out of 50, then pick a separate money ball out of a field of 25. Your odds of winning the Big Game jackpot? A wee bit better than Powerball, about 53 million to 1.
Here's tip number 4. The odds don't change when the jackpot grows.
Whether the jackpot is higher or lower has no effect on the odds of the game. You're always going against the amount of balls that are in the drawing field. So that if a game such as Powerball has 1 in 80 million odds, that means there are 80 million different combinations that can come in. Therefore, whether the jackpot is 250 million or $800 million, the odds on your ticket winning is still going to be 1 in 80 million.
Now it's time to get to the nitty-gritty. Let's take some time to look at Pick 3 and Pick 4 games. These are the simplest games if you want to have fun playing with a strategy. They're played daily and in some states twice daily. The number field is small and so are the payouts, but the odds are teeny-weeny compared to Lotto. And as a bonus, you can cash in those tickets where you buy them. You can put money in your pocket and become the most popular guy at your local convenience store. Hey, is there anybody back there? So here's how a Pick 3 game works. You choose 3 numbers, each of them between 0 and 9. You can play different numbers like 135, doubles with pairs of numbers like 336, or triples, all the same, like 888. You can play those numbers several ways on a play slip. A straight bet means you must match all 3 numbers in the exact order they're drawn. Let's say I play the number 691, but the winning number is drawn 196. If I bet a straight number bet, I lose. Right numbers, wrong order. A straight bet is the hardest way to win with the highest odds, but it does pay the biggest prize, usually $500 for each dollar bet.
Here's tip number 5. Lower the odds with a box bet.
You can also play combinations called box bets to lower the odds. It's like making a bunch of little bets for the same money. For example, I can bet my number 691 as a 6-way box bet. That way, those 3 numbers could be drawn in any order for 6 possible combinations. So if 196 or 961 were drawn, I'd still be a winner. With a 6-way box, the odds of winning are only 167 to 1. A 3-way box bet is played with doubles. That means you can play a 3-digit number with 2 of the digits being the same, pulled in any order. So a 3-way box on a number like 113 would also mean a payout if the draw is 131 or 311. And the odds of winning this way are about 333 to 1.
Here's tip number 6. Get more bang for your buck with a 50-50 bet.
It depends upon how comfortable you are with playing as an individual, whether you're going to play a straight bet or a box bet. You can play in many states what they call a 50-50. And a 50-50 would be where 50 cents goes to the box and 50 cents is a straight bet. Of course, the payout's cut in half too. But it depends upon the particular game you're playing on how you want to play it.
Pick 4 works pretty much the same as Pick 3. You pick 4 numbers, each from a field of 0 to 9. And you have even more ways to play box bets, depending on the state. Your best bet would be to check where you play Lotto for details on all the ways you can play a Pick 3 or Pick 4 number.
Here's tip number 7. Know the rules for the games in your state.
Each state may offer variations on these basic games, and since that could affect the odds, it pays to know the rules. Look for brochures on each game where you buy Lotto tickets, or call your state lottery commission. Hey, like my chart? Big, isn't it? Helps me get the big picture. And tracking's especially easy to do with Pick 3 and Pick 4 games. Plus, it's kind of fun playing with numbers. Ah! What the come on, no, not that kind of play. Get out of here. Go on, get out. Don't you start that now. Lotto ball. Sorry about that. Where were we? Yeah, number tracking.
Here's another fun way to play. Track the winning numbers.
Well, you track numbers by either using a computer or writing them down on paper. A lot of people do it by hand on a sheet of paper, and you track what numbers are being drawn, how often they're being drawn, or in the Pick 3 or Pick 4 games, we call the digit. It's a 3-digit number, and you track the digits and how often that digit's been drawn, how long it's been since it's been drawn. The longer you go, the more it averages out. And if you go back to the beginning of the game, you get an average where most of the numbers are probably being drawn about the same amount of times.
Let's try tracking the Pick 3 numbers for the Missouri Lottery. The easiest way to get the past winning numbers is from the internet. If you're not online, find a friend who is, or see if your local library has internet access. Or you can always look up the numbers every day in the newspaper. So if I go to the Missouri Lottery's website, I can see which Pick 3 numbers were drawn for the last year. And as I copy them over to my tracking chart, I can start to see which numbers have been pulled a lot and which numbers haven't been drawn lately.
Here's another fun way to play. Playing the same numbers.
I normally play my numbers for a 7-day period. In the Lotto, I'm comfortable with running them for like 30 days or 1 month, and then change the numbers after 1 month.
Tracking winning numbers is fun to do for Pick 5 and Pick 6 games as well.
If you're a hot number player, meaning that you like to play numbers that continually come up, you see which numbers are coming in and you play them. If you're a cold number player, meaning those are players that have not been numbers that have not been coming up, you can play that too.
Here's another fun way to play. Mix up your number groups.
Divide the field, your number field, into 4 different groups. Let's say you had a 48 drawing field. You could make it each the first 12, the second 12, the third 12, and the fourth 12. You could check to see what number groups are coming in. For example, if the second number group is coming in a lot more than the third number group, well, you might play some numbers from the second number group, or you might jump on that third number group feeling that they're overdue to come in.
Here's another fun way to play. Mix odd and even numbers.
Do not play all odd or even numbers. 80% of the time, there's a mix of odd and even numbers. So why should anyone play all or odd or even numbers? Once again, yes, it could come in tonight, but the truth of the matter is, you're better off going with the percentages.
We just learned that Pick 3 and Pick 4 are daily games that are fun and easy enough to play. But if you want the potential of winning millions, oh, I like the way that sounds, millions, then Pick 5 and Pick 6 games are for you. Meet Joe Hoover, who won $30 million when he bought a Pick 6 lotto ticket while working in Ohio as a construction worker. A job, by the way, he no longer holds.
I was working out of town on a power plant, and placed me cashing my paycheck at the bank like the rest of the guys did after work. You know, I just went down and got $10 worth of gas and $10 worth of them lottos. And so I went on back to my room. Then I got up the next morning. I heard that a cash buyout ticket hit. And it hit at that BP station where I bought my ticket. And I says, but I couldn't find out what the numbers were. So I had all my tickets there on the sun visors of the truck. And I was working on the job all day, and I said, I might have hit that thing down at a gas station after work, which I asked for the copy of the numbers. I held my ticket there. Boom, 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 right in a row. And I didn't sleep that night. I hit for $30 million. I get the $13 million up front, then taxes come out of that. They gave me a check for $9,227,000, I think it was. I've helped out my daughter a little bit and helped out my mama, you know, get her a couple little goodies. And my brother, my sister. I always wanted to have a nice house that is like on the water, you know. I built a 250-foot pier with a boathouse at the end. Put in this rec room down here, you know, the bar, the slot machines, things, a pistol range. Got my money invested. So at the end of, for 25 years, the way this money is being handled, I will have for $30 million. I'll be worth for $30 million, not counting. I've done live for the 25 years, bought houses, cars, boats, and so forth. And that's the game plan.
Here's tip number 8. Don't play sequences.
It's never a good idea to play what we call common number sequences, such as 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 7, 14, 21, 28, 35. And the reason is that so many people play these combinations that even if you do win, your prize will be a lot less because, as you know, jackpots are parimutuel, meaning we divide the amount of money won.
Here's tip number 9. Avoid patterns.
Don't use patterns on your play slips, such as some people will draw a V or a T on their play slips. And again, believe it or not, you're not unique, and many people do this, and if they win with a pattern, you're going to win a lot less.
Many lotto regulars like to play more than one set of numbers every time. That's how they better their odds. And the easiest way to come up with all those different combinations is to use a wheeling system. With a wheel, you can play more than just 6 numbers at a time. You can take, say, 10 or 15 numbers and wheel them into various combinations to play. What is this? This is not right. I mean, this is a wheel with numbers. This isn't a number wheel. I mean, you props guys, you really messed this up. This is not... Let's just ignore this, shall we?
Here's another fun way to play. Wheels let you play more numbers.
A wheeling system allows you to combine many numbers together, and there are basically 2 types of wheels. There's a full wheel and an abbreviated wheel. A full wheel allows you, if you took 10 numbers and combined all the possible combinations, you'd have 210 combinations to play. And if you had 6 of the numbers picked that were in your 10-number wheel, it's guaranteed one of your tickets would be a jackpot winner. And you'd have multiple 5 of 6s, 3 of 6s, 4 of 6s that you'd win also.
But playing all 210 combinations at $1 a pop is too rich for my blood. That's where an abbreviated wheel comes in handy. It abbreviates the number of combinations to play. An abbreviated wheel like this one from Lotto World magazine lets you wheel 22 numbers into 26 combinations.
In this particular wheel, you would take your 22 numbers and you would label them A through V. Then what you would do is look down the wheel, and wherever you see an A, you would put in the number that you had represented for the A slot, and B for the B, C, D, E, F, G, all the way up to V. Once you have filled this totally in, you would play the combinations that the wheel shows you to play. And again, in this case, in this 22 number wheel, you would only have to play 26 combinations.
Wheels are a great way to play Pick 5 and Pick 6 lotto games. But did you know you can also use them on Pick 3 and Pick 4 games?
Here's another fun way to play, using wheels for Pick 3 and Pick 4.
You use the Pick 3 and the Pick 4, a wheeling system, to cover a lot of bases. With your odds in the Pick 3 at 1,000 to 1, the more numbers you play, the better your odds are of winning or having that number drawn.
Let's use Lotto World's Pick 3 wheel to play 6 numbers. Say 0, 2, 5, 6, 8, 9. You put 0 in the A box, 2 in the B box, and so on. Then plug the numbers into these combinations to give you 10 number combinations to play.
Here's tip number 10. Don't play all the combinations for Pick 3.
You wouldn't want to use all 10 digits and play all 1,000 because you pay $1,000 to win 500, which is not a very good bet, not unless you're donating to the state education program or wherever the money's going. But using a wheel system, you can cover a lot of territory for a lot smaller amount of money.
Oh, excuse me. You caught me on my lunch break. Well, you can approach playing the lottery a lot of different ways. You know, if you're a thinker, someone who likes to analyze and weigh pros and cons, then tracking numbers is for you, and that can be fun. But if you don't want to spend the time it takes to track number trends, the sky's the limit when it comes to picking numbers. Very funny. Very funny. You guys are getting to like throwing things on my head, aren't you? What is it, Abuse the Host Day? Well, that explains why we had Chinese food for lunch. Anyway, this is a fun way to get your numbers, and it's a good excuse to eat out. I love Chinese food. Let's see. 24, 9. Now check out these winners, Tom and Pat Roberts. They won their Florida Lottery Millions with an unusual set of numbers.
We took children's birthdays, birth months, year of birth, primarily Pat and I's birth year of 36 and 41, our birth month of 10, and then we took some of the grandchildren's, and then we had a combination we would work in there, you know, playing around with just those numbers, basically.
We had been bowling on Wednesday night, and on the way home from the bowling alley, I just got this funny feeling.
And she says, I feel lucky. I'm gonna change the numbers. And of course I say, no, don't do that. Don't you chase the numbers, let the numbers chase you. Stick to what you have.
So the next morning while he was going to work, I got a card, and all I did was reverse the numbers from the cards that we had been playing for about 6 months.
It was just a lucky stroke.
And as far as winning, it's a gift in a sense, but I wouldn't say we were poor, but we were hardworking, everyday people. So I consider it to be a miracle.
Before, if you wanted to make a major purchase of any type, you had to really seriously consider it and think about it and dream about it. Now you can more or less say, yes, let's check it out, and if it's worth our while, we'll do it.
We won't let the money come between us. It's because you win this money, and because, you know, it is something that you never expected, you need to make sure that you discuss it between the two of you, and if one of you doesn't agree with what you want to buy, talk about it. don't argue over it because it's not worth it. The money is not worth it.
If you work in being a four-letter word, it's like vulgarity. When you're in the situation we're in now, retirement is a blessing. And if you was like our lifetime, working many hours overtime, 2 jobs, sometimes 3, and anything else you could do to make a dime. When you mention work now, it just, that's a no-no.
We have a wonderful relationship, and people are amazed. They say that they tell us how much they love us because we haven't changed. We have not let this go to our heads, and we're still just as good as what they are. We're no better than them. We have wonderful friends, and because of that, too, we take a lot of pride in what we have and what we do and the friendships that we have, so it'll always stay this way.
Now, as we've learned, playing the lottery with a strategy is playing smartly. But the smartest way of playing can also be a great way to have fun with a group of friends with a common goal, winning the jackpot.
A lottery club is a gathering of your friends, family, co-workers into a group that has a common purpose to play the lottery, and you hope to win the lottery.
Here's tip number 11. With lottery clubs, get the rules in writing.
It's very important that when you start a lottery club that you have a written agreement that states exactly how your club will operate, who will collect the money, who will buy the tickets, who will make copies of the tickets and provide them to the members, and how you will collect and distribute the winnings should you hit the jackpot. Because there are tax rules that apply to this. And if you don't do it right, it's going to cost you a lot of money.
Playing with a group is a great way to lower the odds by playing more combinations with less money out of your own pocket. But whether you play with friends or on your own, how much should you bet? CPA Chuck Aldendorfer has a good money management formula. Not you again.
Here's tip number 12. Budget your entertainment money.
The government's already got their hands on 25% of your money. The other 75% is left to you to spend how you want. Then I break down the 75% between lifestyle, which is feeding, clothing, and shelter, and fun. And in between there, you've got cars to buy, you've got vacations to go on. Part of the entertainment side, which runs about 10 to 15% of your money. Whether you believe it or not, 15% of your money is going to go to entertainment of some sort. Part of that 15% should be your gaming money too. Now, that's the formula, and it works, and you can carry it through your entire life.
Let me get serious here for a minute. Remember, the lottery's all about having fun. If you find yourself starting to spend more than you should on lottery games, stop. Stop and think about it. And if you find you can't stop or can't play within your financial limits, then you might need to talk to someone at Gamblers Anonymous. You can find a number for your local chapter in the phone book or visit their website at www.gamblersanonymous.org to find a group near you.
Here's tip number 13. Play the same amount every week.
Playing the same amount of money each week is very helpful. Then you know where you are. In other words, don't play $10 one day, $20 another day, $5 another day. Play the same amount each day for a week. If you decide that you want to change the amount you play, do that the next week. But don't be changing your numbers every week and being a haphazard player.
Here's another fun way to play. Playing in cycles.
Sometimes it's smart not to play. People tend to run in cycles, myself included. You'll have cycles when you win, and then you'll have cycles when it doesn't matter what you do, it doesn't seem like you're going to ever win. And if you're able to track your playing and you go into a down cycle, then you play less.
Here's tip number 14. You can't win if you don't play.
The worst piece of advice about the lottery that I've ever heard is don't play. Simply because if you don't play, you can't win.
Now let's meet a man who's living proof that you've got to play to win.
I'm Leslie Bowe. I won the Florida lottery on September 17, 1994. I won $17 million. And there began the change of my entire life.
I had him take me to exactly the same place he bought it from and make sure I got it from the same guy.
Even
and the
with
same number
person.
of tickets.
Yeah.
15 tickets.
But unfortunately, it didn't even pay 3 numbers that instance. But it's funny because even doing things like that, I could say be with a group like this and everybody says, okay, give me $1 and I go and buy, say, 10 tickets or whatever and hand them out. Or whatever they leave me with by choice, I end up winning 3 numbers or something and they get nothing. I've played all of the Florida lottery games from the Cash 3, played 4, Fantasy 5. In fact, I've even had 2 opportunities that not only did I play the Fantasy 5, but I won the Fantasy 5 one time for about $21,000 and the next time for about $13,000. Just luck. Just luck.
People don't ask me if he's alive, if he's had an accident. Is he still
working?
working? That's all they want to know.
Before winning the lottery, I always had a dream of moving into a community as the one that I now live in, Pinecrest. And the lottery definitely helped me pursue that dream and getting into this community. But I am such an active person and liking projects and everything, I said I wanted to make things happen. And that's where I took that adventure and led me into running for one of the 5 council seats, and I got elected.
I don't think the fact that he's won a lottery has set him apart from any of us. At least he doesn't come across that way. I just keep rubbing his handle, hoping some of that good luck rubs off on me.
And I would say probably 99% of the people that I had as friends before the lottery are still my friends, and it's still my friends, not because I won the lottery, but because they are truly my friend.
He did throw a party. It was a party just for, thank you for just being friends. And he did it at the Biltmore. It was beautiful.
And I said to Leslie, I think you have changed. And I think the way that you've changed is that you're more empowered to really be the leader. And I think he's doing a great job of it.
I never tried to figure out why maybe I'm this lucky other than thinking in myself that it must be for doing good.
I mean, how many people win the lottery, keep their day job, then take another job that pays them $1 a year?
Before we go, let me tell you a little more about the best resource a lotto player can use, the internet. If you haven't gotten around to getting online, well then now's a good time to do it. Whether you're tracking winning numbers or looking for help filling out the play slip, you'll find a world of information out there on the web, including more tips.
Here's tip number 15. Use the internet to study the games.
There is a lot of information on the lotteries. There's a lot of information from the individual states on the internet that tells you what games are coming up, what new games they're going to be introducing, what the odds are in their games, who the winners are, how much they may be paying out for particular jackpots. So there's just a multitude of information. We're at www.lottoworldmagazine.com. We post the daily results of each drawing every day of every state. We also post tips, and I post my particular numbers that I feel are going to be drawn. We have also strategies and tips on the Pick 6 and Pick 5 games.
Here's a list of some of my favorite lottery websites. Now that you know more about how to play, which lottery game is right for you?
Generally speaking, play the Pick 6 for the big jackpot, play the Pick 5 for a decent jackpot, but better odds, play the Pick 4, and then play the Pick 3 for a smaller jackpot, but better odds yet because you're going to attack the game and you want chances of winning. We always must remember the lottery is a random game, so don't be foolish. Enjoy it, have a good time with it, use it for stress relief, have something to look forward to every week, but don't overspend.
So, let's recap how you want to approach playing the lottery. Decide which game or games you want to play and concentrate on playing those. Develop a strategy, whether it's using a number wheel or even just letting a lotto shaker pick the numbers. Track the past winning numbers if you want and watch for trends. And set a dollar amount to play on every game. Stick to that budget. That's what makes you a smart lottery player. And remember, lotteries are games of chance based on random number selection. It's up to you to decide how you want to play. Well, that's about it. Thanks for joining me. I had a great time talking with you about the lottery. Now let's all go out there and have some fun. Hey, and maybe we can become the next lottery millionaires. Okay, now it's not funny anymore. It's just not funny. Besides, I didn't have my hat on. By the way, stick around for one of those very important message thingies. 12, that's a good number.
You've seen how to use a strategy to play all the different lottery games. Now keep watching this special half-hour bonus section of More Winning the Lottery to learn more about lottery clubs, a fun way to play with friends and family. We'll talk about the new video lottery games that you can play and those scratch-off games. Did you know there's smart ways to play those to win? Who knew? This deluxe bonus edition also includes what you should do if you're lucky enough to win the jackpot. And what should you do before you claim your prize? Our CPA gives you some money management advice you can use, win or lose. Now, let's hear more from the winners.
I tell anybody if they feel lucky to make sure they go play the numbers. If they have some numbers that keep coming up, go and play them. You might get lucky.
I believed in definitely going out there and at least taking a chance and gambling a few dollars at all of it.
I said, what the heck? You never know. Lightning might hit twice.
But first, let's talk lotto. You probably watched a drawing on TV, but did you ever wonder what goes on behind the scenes to guarantee that you're getting a random draw?
When the drawing is held, there's a great deal of time and energy that's spent before the drawing to ensure that we have, in fact, achieved the security, integrity, and randomness that we want. So we have security people there. They watch, in fact, as the locked vault is opened and the balls are removed. The balls are then weighed. The balls will then be tested in a machine. And as the balls are tested, the randomness of the balls is being watched to determine whether, in fact, one ball is coming up more often than maybe a random occurrence would be. And if we see that happening, we weigh that ball again, we test it again, we may remove it and replace it with a new ball. We do everything that we can to ensure that, in fact, the integrity of everything that we have done is 100%. And in that way, we are also providing the players, I think, with a sense of confidence that their money is being spent on a product that will return to them a fair chance for them to win.
I play because I like money, and I would like to be able to go out and get anything that I ever wanted.
Meet Sheila Coleman, the leader of a Maryland club that plays together to win.
And so what I'm going to do is just go ahead and run the same numbers for the entire month. Then if those numbers don't hit, then what we're going to do is next month change the numbers again.
I work at Northwest Hospital Center, and a group of us decided that we would play the lottery. It started off with 5 people. Now it is 15 people. I am the leader.
Hi, how you doing?
I am called Miss Lottery. I'm the one go out to get the tickets, I make the copies, and I make sure everybody gets their copy. I enjoy doing it. It's fun. And playing the lottery, for me, is my social part of my life. The reason why I play with a group is because your chances are better. You have more money and you have better chances of winning. Sometimes you may not can afford to play like $100, where if you have a group, you can put out $100. We win a lot of free tickets, and with the free tickets, we usually add on to the ones that we play with our normal everyday playing.
I just want to know why we haven't won yet. All these numbers.
I know all these numbers. I just have a feeling it's going to come one day.
Sheila and her co-workers play together for fun, but Lotto Club should have rules to protect its members' investments. So, how should you go about starting a lottery club?
Here's tip number 1. Lottery clubs know the laws in your state.
It's legal to form a lottery club and play with a club, but as far as collecting and distributing winnings, every state has a different rule when it comes to that. And you need to make yourself aware of the rules in the state, because if you don't, you're going to have a problem with collecting the money, you're going to have a problem with tax liability.
Tip number 2, know your tax liability.
Even though playing as a group buys you more chances to win, there are steps you should take to protect yourself financially.
If an individual signs their name, puts their name on the back of a lottery ticket and signs their name, then all the tax liability accrues to that individual. If you have a group of people, then you need to find another method to collect and distribute those winnings. I know of a group of 10 people that were playing the lottery, and they were retired folks, and they happened to win a 5 out of 6 ticket in the Florida lottery. And when they went to collect their winnings, they put the name of their group on the ticket, they signed the ticket, and they turned it in. The lottery told them that they had a partnership, and they had to file a certain form in order to collect those winnings. They filled out the proper form, they collected the winnings, and then a few years later, the IRS called them up and said, hey, we believe you owe us some money because you're a partnership. And they had their CPA provide the information to the IRS. The IRS, in turn, turned around and fined them $2,500 for failing to file the partnership return.
Here's a fun way to play. Use a wheel with your group.
Earlier, we learned about wheeling as a lotto strategy. With a wheel, you can play combinations of many numbers for any game, from a pick 3 to a pick 6. But playing a wheel isn't just an individual strategy. Wheeling numbers can be more practical when you play with a group.
A lottery club will allow you to pool your money, to have more money available to spend on lottery tickets, and with a larger amount of money, you can play what's called a full wheel, whereby you pick any 10 numbers, combine it into 210 combinations, and if 6 of the numbers that are drawn in the lottery are within your 10-number group, there's a guarantee that says one of the tickets of those 210 will be the winning jackpot ticket. And then you'll have many 5 out of 6, 4 out of 6, and 3 out of 6 tickets that are winners also. And a lottery club has the money and the resources to do that, whereas an individual, doesn't necessarily have $210 to spend on the lottery. And by pooling their efforts, a lottery club can do that.
If you don't want to set up your own group, there are clubs you can join to play not only your local lotto, but other state lotteries as well. Still, you should be cautious before you join.
Tip number 3, make sure the club is reputable.
Here's what you have to look out for when you're looking for a lottery club. First of all, is the company reputable? Generally speaking, the company should have a publication or something that comes out regularly so you can keep track of how much money you're winning, and you can also know that this is not a fly-by-night company.
Here's tip number 4, ask questions.
It's not wrong to ask them, how much has your club won? How has it been doing? How do I know this is true? Can you give me documentation on how your club is doing? Who else is in your club? Who actually is running your club? And does the company that owns the club take any money out of the club at all? Are there any hidden costs that you're not telling me about? Is it a one-time fee or what? The other thing is you could form a lottery club with just friends. Always remember, though, to put it in writing so that your agreements are known to everybody.
Make sure that you have all the rules set before you start playing. And don't change any rules, because you can really break up friendship.
Tip number 5, the safest bet is to play with people you know.
The internet is full of join our lottery club sites, pay your money, and you have to remember these are commercial ventures. They're looking to make some money, and they're going to combine your money with other people's money, and they've got to make a profit to stay in business. But that's why I recommend that if you're going to play with your friends and family and coworkers, because these are the people that know you the most, and they're most comfortable with you. And they won't have a problem giving you your money and you putting your money with theirs.
If your club decides to play lotteries outside your home state, you should check your state gambling regulations first to make sure you're not breaking the law. You don't have to join a club to play the lottery in other states. You can buy the tickets while you're vacationing or traveling to another state for business or pleasure. Or you could ask friends or family members to play those other games for you. But don't have them drop the tickets in the mail to you. It's against the law to use the U.S. Postal Service to play the lottery. In fact, a federal statute prohibits mailing money to buy any ticket, share, or chance in a foreign lottery as well.
Tip number 6, play where you live.
There are enough lotteries in the United States that you can play those lotteries and not have to go and play foreign lotteries. Because if you play on the internet, you're generally going to have to give a credit card number, or you're going to ship money off to some unknown place, when you can go right down the street at your local convenience store and buy all the lottery tickets you want.
We have to be careful of these foreign lotteries. You don't know whether you're going to get your money for these foreign lotteries or even internet lotteries. How do you know you're going to be paid off? What track record do they have that guarantees that you will be paid off? The money that you spend in your state is the best money of all, because even if you lose the lottery, you're giving money for your state.
So it sounds like when it comes to playing foreign lotteries, don't do it. And here's Barry Miller with a few more lottery scams to avoid.
Tip number 7, be alert to scams.
Always worry about something that looks too good to be true. One such scam is someone who says, oh, I have a ticket that's worth $5 million. However, I can't cash it today. It's Sunday and I have to leave the country. If you will give me $1,000, you can have the ticket. I just need the $1,000 so that I can leave. And you know, unfortunately, there are many foolish people who say, oh, gee, that's a great deal. They go, they give this person $1,000, it's a phony ticket, and they're out their money. Another scam commonly takes place is someone will tell you they're a foreigner. And because they're a foreigner, they can't cash their ticket. So would you cash this ticket for me, and I will give you whatever the amount is if you will give me $2,000. So always, always, always tread lightly on any deal that looks too good to be true. You're probably getting scammed.
Loretta Borowski won her millions using a convenient way to play that many states are offering, a lottery subscription service, where you can pay in advance for up to a year's worth of drawings for your numbers.
Okay, there's the winning ticket.
That's it.
Okay, but I could keep that
Right.
because it's in the computer.
There you go.
See, I don't have to turn the winning ticket in. Normally you have to put it in a safe deposit box until you turn it in so you don't lose it. But when your subscription, that's all taken
What a
care
commercial.
of. The subscription is great because you don't have to run and look for a place that sells lottery tickets. Not many places do. And this way you could buy it for 3 months, 6 months, a whole year in advance, and you know you're playing it every Wednesday and every Saturday. And it's also a wonderful gift. For Christmas, I give it to many people for $25, which is an average price of a gift. You can give them a subscription to the lottery.
Here's another fun way to play. Use a matrix to play all numbers in the field.
There's another way to play number combinations that's simpler than wheeling. It's called a matrix. Now, it doesn't cover as many number combinations as a wheel does, but it does take advantage of randomly choosing numbers so that you play all of the numbers in a given game.
I use it for a fun system. If we got a real high jackpot, for example, I'll take and I'll run a matrix program and it'll give me seven games, and I'll play those 7 games as an additional bet just for fun because it covers all the bases.
Here's how to create a simple matrix for a Pick 6 lotto game that draws from a field of 48 numbers. First, you divide 48 by 6 and come up with 8. That's how many combinations you'll play. Take a piece of paper and draw straight lines on it to form a grid that's 6 boxes wide and 8 boxes long. Now randomly fill in all the boxes with numbers from 1 to 48. If you've got favorite numbers you like to play, you can still use a matrix. Since you're playing all numbers in a given field, your numbers are already in there, and you can place them wherever you wish within the matrix. When you're finished, you'll have 8 rows of random numbers, sort of like your own handmade quick pick, and those will be the 8 sets of numbers you play. If your Pick 6 game draws from a number field that isn't divisible by 6, like 49, you can still use a matrix, but you'll have to throw out a few numbers to get to a total that you can divide by 6. You got that? Let's meet Doug Ketchum, an avid lottery player from Georgia who hasn't hit the big one yet, but who's having a great time trying.
I play the lottery because it's a dream. It's like anyone else, instant wealth. I play in 4 state lotteries: Illinois, Texas, Florida, and Georgia. In Florida, I play with my brother. Every Christmas, I give him a check for $52 along with other Christmas gifts. And the deal is that we go 50-50 on everything, and he matches. I play $1 a week, he plays $1 a week. And I've won, I've won pocket money. I've won several $100s every year since I started playing, and it's another thing that keeps me going. And I think it's the ultimate dream. We also do the instant games. One day, we went up to DJ's, which is the shop where we play, and my wife and I sat in a car in the rain one day. We went in and bought 5 scratch-off tickets and kept winning. We sat there for 2 hours and bought out the whole roll of scratch-off tickets for that particular game. Never won anything more than $40 or $50 on one ticket, but sat there for 2.5 hours playing until we ran out of their money. And I've heard one of the statistics that you have about a 1 in 250,000 chance to die in a plane crash, and that you have more of a chance to die in a plane crash than you do at winning the lottery. But you got to be on that plane. So that's why I play the lottery.
The simplest way to play the lottery is probably the most fun way, too. Scratch-off games come in all shapes and sizes, with odds of winning that are more down to earth than you realize.
I think scratch-offs are the most fun of all to play. After all, every ticket you have a chance of winning something. In fact, you have the best chance of all in scratch-offs. Every ticket out of 4 or 5 has a winning ticket for you, has something. You may get $1 back, you may get a free ticket back.
I think the most important new component of games, not only in Maryland but in other states, are the scratch-off products. That has added a great entertainment factor to lotteries that I don't think existed in the past. For example, we in Maryland have just issued a Harley-Davidson scratch-off in which players have a chance not only to win cash, but have a chance to win a Harley-Davidson motorcycle.
Okay, I promised you scratch-off strategies. Here's Barry Miller with some tips.
Here's tip number 8. Don't wait too long to play new scratch-off games. Did you know tickets are often sold long after the big jackpot prize is won?
First of all, play scratch-off games when they're first introduced. And the reason you do that is the jackpots are still there. Why play a game when there's no jackpots in the mix?
Here's tip number 9. Check your tickets.
Don't be lazy. Always check your scratch-off tickets for winning prizes. Believe it or not, many free prizes are thrown away or discarded because people haven't taken the time to look, or they don't realize what they have, what winning ticket that they have. So check it carefully.
Tip number 10, beat the churn.
You have to beat the churn. The churn is the dollar you get back from a winning ticket. Too often we get back our dollar and we wind up getting another ticket. That's the churn, because we're giving our money right back to the state. Keep those winning tickets, even for $1, for a whole week. Then give it back. You'll be surprised how much money, especially if you're a bigger player of scratch-offs, you'll actually be returning and getting money for.
There's another way to play the lottery that's a bit more high-tech than a scratch-off. Many states are beginning to offer Keno-style instant video games. So you only have to wait a matter of minutes to find out if you've won the big prize.
Here's another fun way to play, Video Keno.
When we talk about Keno-style games, there are 2 types of Keno games. One is a pick 10, which is similar to the type of Keno game that they would play in Las Vegas, where you pick a certain amount of numbers, and then a certain amount of numbers are drawn, and if the numbers that you select are drawn, you win the big prize. Then there's the quick draw type games. They're a lot of fun to play, although they're very difficult to actually come up with a strategy for. They usually come on every 5 minutes, new numbers are picked, they're played at bars and so forth, and you have a chance of winning if, again, your numbers are selected from the group that's available in the field.
Now meet Tim Tillman, a regular video Keno player who has made the game worth his while.
I like Keno because there are lots of possibilities of winning.
you can play one number up to 10 numbers, and it's really easy to win. As a matter of fact, the first time I played in a restaurant and I won dinner for free. I play 10 numbers, and also I play 8 numbers. If you play 10 numbers and win all 10 numbers, you win $100,000. Of course, I've never won that. I've won $500 playing 10 numbers. But I did win $10,000 playing the 8 numbers. Many times I've gone to bars or clubs or whatever and played Keno, and people will say, gosh, I played that number the last game and this game is out. So I would say the best strategy is to stick to the numbers you have and always stick to those particular numbers.
In a quick draw Keno game like the one Tim plays, 20 numbers are drawn. You can choose the amount of numbers or spots you want to play, up to 10 on a play slip. First, you pick the amount of spots you wish to play. Then choose your numbers, how much you wish to bet per game, and how many games you wish to play. Here's a sample of how the payouts compare. If you pick a 10-spot game, the payout for matching 10 numbers out of 20 drawn is a hefty $100,000. But match only 5 out of 20 drawn, and the payout drops to just $2. Now, if you played a 5-spot game, the payout is a cool $300 for matching all 5 out of 20 numbers drawn. It's a lot harder to match 5 numbers in a 5-spot game than matching those same 5 numbers in a 10-spot game. So the odds will be higher, but the payout's greater too. Here's a question for you. Suppose Saturday night rolls around and you find out you had not 1, not 2, but all 6 numbers picked for that week's multi-million-dollar lotto jackpot. Well, what should you do next?
Here's tip number 11. Get an attorney and a CPA.
The 2 phone calls anybody should make when they win over $20,000, including somebody who's gambling, is their CPA and their attorney. One of the first winners in the Georgia lottery was one of our clients, and he won $3 million. And fortunately for him, we were the first ones to get the phone call. And he was on his way to accept the check. And he was talking to me on his cell phone, because he's in business for himself. And he says, Chuck, I'm getting out of my car. You can't imagine the number of people that are walking up to me. And I said, Joe, just go inside, accept your money. When you get done, call me. When he got off the phone, I called the attorney. And the first person we hooked him up with was an attorney. And the attorney got the power of attorney from him. And then all phone calls went through that attorney to eliminate the feeding frenzy that goes on with that media. If I had to give advice for people that came in to me and said, I've won a bunch of money, I won $30,000, I won $40,000, I like breaking things in pods of 3. One of the thirds is going to the government. We can't stop it. The other third is go out, pay off your bills, have some fun. You did a good thing, let's enjoy it. But the other third of the money really needs to go into some type of an investment. If you're self-employed or you own your own business, possibly back into that business. If you're working for a company, is take the money and invest it with a money manager, a mutual fund, a stockbroker.
Now let's hear some tips from our winners on how to handle that big jackpot.
Here's tip number 12. Don't rush to collect.
You definitely need to put your finances in order, at least start some of the initial, phases of estate planning for the long term, knowing that you're going to have these 20-year annuities, and just to plan for it, that you need to take the time. It's not anything that you should rush into.
Here's tip number 13. Married couples should set up a partnership.
One of the individuals in a married couple could go spend any amount of money on anything they wanted to, even against the advice of the other. You couldn't stop them. So when you're given a choice by the lottery, they tell you that you can select 3 ways to bring the money into you: by way of a trust, an entity, or to your individual self. So we chose an entity and went with a partnership. And we did that so we could spell out terms of spending in the partnership. So we say now no one person can spend over $250 on any purchase without the other one's permission and consent.
Here's tip number 14. Manage money wisely.
A person that wins, if they go off and go nuts, it's not going to last. It's going to pay out. And it would be awful to be out of the workforce for a span of 20 years and all of a sudden be thrown back into it, and they'd have to use you as a doorstop, you know, because you wouldn't know what in the world you was doing. But if you manage that money wisely, then you can pretty much, you know, have what you want and then still have a good retirement later when it's paid out.
Tip number 15, save your money, but enjoy spending it too.
I would say definitely if you've done investment planning well enough or whatever, go out and have fun, because who knows, you know, tomorrow this may end for me, you know, with my life. So I would not want to say that I've lived a life and, hey, I had all that money and didn't do anything with it, having fun with it.
And the big question, should you take the payout spread over 20 or more years or go for the lump sum?
Purely on an economic or tax basis, if you can get your hands on all the money at one time is what you want to do. Because invested over a 20-year period of time, even in the shallowest markets, where the market is only rising 10 or 12%, you will double your money every 7 to 8 years. So over a 20-year period, you're going to triple your money.
Here's another fun way to play. Have fun picking your numbers.
We don't have to be so serious when we play the game. We don't want to, in fact, make this too serious an undertaking because, as we know, the odds of winning are very high. One of the great methods of doing it is with the old lottery shaker pen. And in fact, a cat in Texas shook this for the owners, turned it over. The owners played, all 6 numbers picked, and they won $3.1 million thanks to that cat.
You can do birth dates, anniversaries. You can use any dates that have a fun meaning for you. You can even play the pick 4 with Elvis's birthday if you want. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Think of good times when you play the lottery. That's what it's all about. It's fun. Yes, you have a chance of winning. More likely you'll lose. But the truth of the matter is, so what? You're playing something where you have a chance of putting down $1 and changing your life forever.
Well, I think we've covered all the bases when it comes to playing the lottery. You've heard about different strategies you can use to enhance your play. Or if you're just plain feeling lucky, you can play your favorite numbers or let Quick Pick do the work for you. Any way you play the lottery, remember, play it for fun. Thanks for watching, and good luck.